So, there's a couple of special things first. I want to talk to you about what's happening, what you want to know. Are we set up for questions or that kind of... but, before I do that, there's a guy I know, started off casually, gotten to know him better. Really, he's a cool guy. Except when it has to do with Star Trek. Jonathan Scott of the Doobie Brothers, what is it? The Property Brothers.
Hi.
Is here. Jonathan, would you come out, please? I mean,
You had an outfit for me.
people aren't here still. So.
I said I had an outfit for you. It was a track outfit. It was sort of show your muscles though. No, Jonathan, that's a dress.
They said when I went to the booth, the booths are fantastic, by the way, we've gone through there. They said it was one size fits all. There's bulges where there shouldn't be bulges.
No, they lied to you, Jonathan. And what is that you've got on your head?
Well, I wanted to cover, I had a driver's cap on, if any of you, apparently there's a lot of Star Trek / Property Brothers fans here because we're taking a lot of photos. I didn't do my hair this morning because he didn't tell me he was going to drag me out here, so I needed to cover it with something authentic, so I have my Spock ears.
Jonathan Scott, everybody. Thank you, Jonathan. And there is another special group of people. So, in order to raise money for charity, I'm sort of doing anything I can all the time. And one of the ways to do it is to auction off like the celebrity. So, a company called Omaze, O-M-A-Z-E, I auctioned off me for the day. And Megan and Mary Zaster. Megan and Mary Zaster. Come on out, Mary and Megan. They won the competition to spend the day with me. Come on out, sweetheart. Sit down there. Now this is what actors see from the stage. A sea of people looking like, who's that? And will they amuse me and amaze me? Who are you?
I'm Mary Zazer.
And you are?
I'm the mother of the winner.
Of the winner. And you are?
I'm Megan Zazer, the winner.
Megan, your mom said you were a little bit shy, but you're not shy at all right now.
Inside I am.
Yes, you are, and I can understand it because, like, what are you going to say, what are you going to do? But I said that you would spend the day with me, and we've had breakfast, and you've come around with it, and now you're going to sit on stage and be with me while I conduct the panel. And because of that, because they won, and because we raised a large sum of money for the Hollywood Charity Horse Show, which gives its money to children and veterans in need. There's another Omaze production or occasion in which the winner will go to England, be flown, and a companion flown to England and be at the Star Trek convention in England, the Destination Star Trek convention in England. So what I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have to sort of remember, and that is how to connect to see if you would like to be in the contest and how you do it. You go to Omaze, OMAZE.com/Shatner. And enter for your chance to win. That's really all you need to do. Go there and you will spend a day with me in England, and they will pay your way and your expenses and a VIP guest at one of the big Star Trek conventions in England. And the money that everybody gives to enter into this competition goes to charity. That's it. Thank you, everybody. So, what's happening? Let me just talk to you a moment while you get accustomed to me and I get accustomed to you. Let me tell you about an album that I've got out that I'm really proud of, and I'm proud of it because I was not comfortable with the step I took forward. A guy by the name of Brian Curl of Heartland Records called me one day and he said, "Would you like to make a country music album?" He must have heard Rocket Man or something like that. So I said yes, but I didn't know, as you all know, I can't sing, which is a bit of a problem making an album, a musical album. But I have a feel for poetry and the lyric, and the question is, how do you fuse the lyric with the melody line? And especially in country music, where the lyric is so obvious and the music line is obvious, you can't hide. You got to be there. And so I did the best I could. The songs were sent to me. There used to be in Times Square a building called the Brill Building, where composers would have offices, and on a warm summer's day with the windows open in the Brill Building, you could hear the music that they were playing. In each office there would be a composer trying to sell a song to a vaudeville comedian, Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, and ultimately Frank Sinatra. Great entertainers would go to the Brill Building to see what material they had that they could use as a song. And many of the great songs that we know and love came from those composers in the Brill Building. Well, the Brill Building's long since gone, but what exists now is a group of highly talented musicians in Nashville writing country music songs. So when I said to Brian Curl, "What'll I sing?" he began to send me songs, out of which I chose 12. And those 12 songs were demonstrated by the composers usually, and they, the composers, are really talented. They're performers in their own right, just magic hasn't hit them. They did not get the spotlight or the finger of fame for one reason or another, but their talent, both as composers and as musicians, as singers, is unquestioned. And I put all those songs that I chose on my phone, and I was busy for a month, but all the time I was listening to the songs, and I was listening to the way those talented demonstrators were illustrating their songs. It came time to go to Nashville with Jeff Cook of Alabama, with whom I made the album, and we laid down our tracks, and now the album is coming out in the next week or so. It is, for the first time, over at Shatner, whatever that is, sales thing. Paul Camuso has got, I think, several. I saw one this morning for the first time. They're just out, they won't be out in general use for another week or two, but it's there, unique, first come, first serve. That has to do with this musical journey that I went on. I also was asked to do a book about whatever, and I thought, I'm old enough to be looking at the end of my life and thinking, what happens next? And I thought I'd write about it. Live long and ... is the name of the book. It is heartfelt. The premise really is, how can anybody advise anybody else? I don't know what you feel, you don't know what I feel. I can only tell you what I did as I grew older, and how I'm facing the end of my life. And whether it resonates with you or not, you'll have to read the book. It comes out in a month or so. One other thing. I was asked to do a Christmas album. And we named it Shatner Claus. And the same musical journey of exploration that I made on the country music album, I made with the Christmas album. The problem is, for me, is I speak the lyrics, and yet, for example, there's a song, the title of which I Should Have Loved Her. And the demonstrator of the song sustained, I should have loved her. And the singer, with that passion and that extended note, gives you an idea of the passion that he felt when he should have loved her. How does the spoken word do that? Those are the problems, the musical problems that I was trying to solve, and you'll tell me whether I did any good or not. And one other note, if you'll forgive the expression, after those two albums, the Cleopatra record said, would I make a blues album? So, look at the problem making a blues album. I feel blues. I understand blues. I understand sadness. I understand the passions of being blue. I understand misery. I understand those things. I can convey them as an actor. But how do you do that as a singer? That's a real technical and emotional problem that I want to solve. So I'm in the process of trying to find blues artists that can teach me and be with me from song to song. And that's what I'm about to do next on this journey of trying to be creative in a unique way that I think I can bring some entertainment to the audience. That's where I'm at right now. Why don't we go to questions, and then we'll have some fun together. Where are the questions? There you are. Okay, very good. Let's go there first.
Mr. Shatner, I'm a fellow Canuck. Your television career, in my opinion, is unparalleled by anyone in television history.
Thank you.
And I think in part you inspired my 33 career as a law enforcement officer. You took away Captain Kirk for me, though, as my favorite television character by your portrayal of Denny Crane, which was unbelievable. Probably the greatest character ever. You recently did, and I apologize for not remembering the title of it, but you recently did, about 2 years ago, you did your one-man show on stage. It was a comedy. It was absolutely brilliant. Have you ever thought about combining your obvious comedic writing talents with the other captains from Star Trek and doing some type of comedy with them in a similar kind of vein that you did that act?
You know, I did a documentary a few years ago called The Captains, in which I had this idea that who are the actors playing the captains, and what do they have in common, and what do they have to say about the role they played, and how they played it, and what their background is to warrant being a captain in Star Trek, which was quite a wonderful job, as well as a kudo for fame and fortune. So I had the idea, but it required me to go all around the world to visit with the actors who played the role. And when we estimated how much the airplane fare would be for me and the crew was hundreds of thousands of dollars, which was far more than I had to spend on the whole documentary. So I did a foolish thing. And it's part of some of the philosophy, if you will, of the books that I've been writing, which is say yes. Say yes. You know, say yes to adventure. Say yes to love. Say yes to things that might be interesting you're afraid of. You know, I'm here to tell you without any question, life is over very quickly. Before you start, you're already saying, my God, I'm old. When did that happen? You don't know when it happens. Somebody says, do you feel old? I say, I don't know. I've never felt this old before. So say yes. So I did this stupid thing. There is a company in Canada, Bombardier. They make ski-doos and water things, and streetcars, and they make airplanes. They what?
In my hometown.
Toronto.
No, Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay. Well, they have their factory, but the offices are in Toronto. Bombardier. So I thought, you know, I'm a Canadian. I want to make this film. Why don't I call Bombardier and ask them if they'll lend me a plane? It's the dumbest thought. You know, when I mentioned to somebody, are you going to call? Yeah, I'll call. Oh no, you don't do the rotary anymore? That was the best phone anyway. This punching thing is... So I call, like you might make a call to your friend. And the operator ended, Bombardier, and I said, I'd like to speak to the chairman, please. And she says, okay. And she says, here's the chairman, the secretary goes, yes, Mr. I forgot his name, Ruffini, office. Is it Mr. Ruffini? She says, who's calling? I said, William Shatner. She's just a moment. And then a masculine voice gets on the yes. Mr. Ruffini, this is William Shatner. Oh!
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Well, Shatner, how are you? I'm well, how are you? Yeah. Well, let me tell you why I'm calling, Mr. Ruffini. I'm making this documentary, and it's going to take everything to just fly around the world. Would you lend me an airplane? And he says yes. Not only does he lend me a large airplane, but he arranges for Rolls-Royce transportation when I land in England and all that. But before I went to England, I flew from Los Angeles to Toronto to pick up the Canadian crew. And it's not Ruffini, I'll get it in a minute. Greets me. How do you do? We got camera. I got cameras shooting it all. How do you do? I said, why are you lending me an airplane? And he said, let me tell you why. When I was a younger man, hello ladies, they told me she was shy. She's not shy. She's just looking for sympathy, right, Mom?
Sure, we'll go with that.
She said, when I was a young man, I watched Star Trek, and I became an aeronautical engineer because of you in Star Trek. And I'd like to pay something back. Here's an airplane. So I made a documentary involving the captains, but it wasn't a comedy thing. But it sounds like a good idea. I'll keep it under consultation. Thank you. Yes! Glittering. Oh no, the hat is behind you. Yes.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
So he who must not be named's best friend made a comment about you.
Wait a minute. Start over again. The he whose name must not be mentioned.
Yes, his
Oh.
best friend. And you are already aware of through Twitter. So with all due respect to Captain Walker, I have to disagree with him. because you are Captain Kirk and Captain Kirk is you. Everything good in Kirk is part of you, and if there's any difference, that is you're much greater than Kirk because you're like a high spirit in almost everything.
Wow! I'm going to tour a few cities in the United States, and I'm going to Australia to tour. Can you come with me and repeat what you said?
It will be my honor.
You really mean it, don't you?
I've already been to two cities to see your shows this year.
Well, I appreciate everything you said, my dear. Thank you. The person you mentioned is, I don't know what's bothering him, but has obviously got something wrong. Well, there's something wrong. I'm not sure what it is, that's all.
And I also think you are the greatest actor on this planet.
I'm the greatest actor on this planet?
Yes.
What a smart and clever person you are. So discerning with great taste. Thank you, I appreciate you saying it.
But I also have a question.
Oh, don't interrupt the flow, dear.
So, all those thousands roles you created through the years, those roles you created on screen, either big screen or on TV, every one of them is memorable, unique, and godly beautiful.
What are you laughing at?
So even though I've read all of your books, but I'm still curious, what's the secret behind your acting talent? You are recognized as an unorthodox actor, so what is your way of doing your actor's craft?
Wow. Well, let me tell you a little story then. I appreciate everything you say. I wish I could agree with you in every nuance, but I appreciate your compliment. But acting, I don't know what acting is. I thought I knew when I was young, and then the more I did, the less I knew. And my granddaughter turns out to have a natural talent. There's something some people have that you keep looking at them. They've got an energy, they've got a spotlight, an inner spotlight. Doggone it, my granddaughter has it. And she's been doing school plays, and she's fantastic. And her father, my son-in-law, and who's also an actor, and I looked at each other, and we said, this is terrible. The kid has real talent. She wants to be an actress. So one day I said, after a particularly delightful performance, I said, what are you doing? How do you learn your lines? How do you understand to say your lines? She says, well, I say my lines out loud until I think they sound right, and then I go on. That is the most peculiar, because she doesn't know anything about technique or because what I do, which may not be right for her, but I've got to suggest it, what I do is think the character I'm playing has certain attitudes and certain proclivities, and everybody has their own filters that are uniquely theirs. So the character I'm playing has these unique things about them. I have to invent that, and then say the words in the way that character that I'm inventing, I think, would say it. So I'm working from the inside out, she's working from the outside in. I guess there's no perfect way. It just seems to me that to invent somebody that doesn't exist except in your mind, using the words that the writer has written because he or she's got an invention in mind, how to mesh those two things with the third party, which is the director, who may have something in mind, that requires weaving in and out. It requires self-knowledge, confidence, ability to adjust to anybody else's suggestion, to try and find a compromise between two opinions, because frequently that third avenue is superior to the other two. So it's a acting can be very, very complex. My granddaughter doesn't understand that, and I never understood why Marlon Brando, one of the great actors of our age, why he thought of it as child's play and grew disgusted with it as he grew older. He was the epitome of what I've just described. The mystery for me, and he was a neighbor, and I was too shy to go up and knock on his door and say, hello, Mr. Brando, I'm Shatner down the road, can we talk? I just didn't do it, and when he died, I thought, what a loss. I should have loved him. That's the title of the song to the album. That's it. And a booth, the Shatner thing. Okay. So, I don't think as acting as child's play. I think it's a complex human exercise that only increases in complexity as you get older and understand human beings even more. Okay? They think I'm doing all right. Yes!
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
It's good to see you
What's
again.
your name?
Jay.
Jay.
We met in Phoenix at
Hey, Jay,
years
how are you,
ago.
man?
I even brought my Sea
What
Shepherd
do you got
flag.
on your shoulders there? It's a devil's fork and thing. Is that like
The
what?
Shepherd's Crook and Neptune's Trident.
Oh, the Neptune Society.
Yeah.
What is the
Sea
Neptune
Shepherd.
Society?
Yeah.
What is it?
I wanted to ask
What is the Neptune Society?
Well, Sea Shepherd is a non-profit organization.
Okay, got it.
Defends marine wildlife
They
all over
do
the world.
good work.
I advocate for them, and I'm a big supporter of them,
Great.
just like you.
Okay, good.
I wanted to ask you, what made you decide to want to support them? Why do you love the
The
ocean
Neptune
so
Society?
much? Yeah.
Because the Neptune Society does good work, and we all owe an obligation. We have an obligation as human beings to help each other. Now, let me tell you about that. The best and the worst of humanity is in the social media. Tweeting has become a receptacle for things you can't even believe people would say or do or threaten. Because they're cloaked in anonymity. They don't have to be responsible for what they say. So some of these poor, sick people say these awful things. But a guy in Vancouver Island, the city was Niamo, Vancouver Island, tweets, "My autistic boy will only eat pasta from a carton of Star Wars. And we've run out of the pasta. Can you help?" We retweet, and thousands of cartons flood Niamo. The Kraft company who makes the pasta got a hold of the kid, the young man, and asked his help to design another carton. A beautiful thing happened. A child in Saudi Arabia tweets, "I'm 14 years old and I've been under kidney dialysis for 3 years. I can't take it anymore. Can somebody help me?" She gets 3 offers of a kidney. A mother in New Jersey tweets, "I'm giving my money to kids in the school that my kid goes to. They don't have enough money for lunch. Can somebody help me?" A girl, and we retweeted, she gets thousands of dollars. And a girl in New York City tweets, "I don't have a date for my prom. Can somebody help me? We get the first baseman for the Mets baseball team. We get a corsage. We get a car to take her around. She tweets back, it was the best night of my life. Right now, there is a young man who needs a wheelchair that costs about $35,000. We are working with the company in Germany who makes the wheelchair to get him a wheelchair. There is a tsunami of goodwill. People like you and me, far more in numbers than the ugly few that tweet these terrible things. I'm shooting a film in South Africa, in the bottom city, Cape Town. It's down at the point there. I'm shooting a film in Cape Town, and every city in South Africa has surrounding the city a slum that is beyond anything you can imagine. You have to see it to believe what thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are doing living around a township around every major city in South Africa. I said to the driver who was driving me back and forth in a limo to one location to another, drive in there. He said, you don't want to go in there. I said, I do. And he drives in there. And all of a sudden, I felt this sense of peace, of equanimity. I see mothers with children, fathers playing soccer, kids going to school, peacefulness in this poverty-stricken area. I said, what am I feeling? And he said, you're feeling Ubuntu, a word that Mandela coined, meaning you're feeling your humanity. So I came home with that experience and these other stories that I'm telling you about, and have founded Ubuntu Discovery, in which it is my desire to have neighbors, people like yourself. What city are you from?
Oh, the name of C. Shatner?
No, what city?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
So if I said to you, find me somebody in Phoenix who has a need, not a giant need, we're not going to send them to college, but tires for a truck, money for lunch. What happened to the American custom of raising the neighbor's barn after it had burned? That neighbors came to help others, and in that deed, you were helping your neighbor. Not that great an effort for you because there were so many of you, and the neighbor was helped. I want to do the neighbor thing. It isn't a 501c, it isn't charity, it's your humanity to somebody near you and a group of people. Say 1,000 people gave $10. What a monumental sum to solve this immediate problem that this person has. Ubuntu Discovery. Go to williamshatner.com, find out how to do it. It's incredible what can be done with a few people doing good deeds. I'm going to go. Very good. Next question.
Captain, my captain, you said it, I tell you. Well, darling, my neighbors, my friends, everyone loves, of course, better late than never.
Yes, better.
And the thing is, we love those travel mates of yours, but why don't they listen to you? You have such enlightenment, such education about the locales, and they don't listen.
My pals don't listen to me?
No,
I know.
And they need some basic power from Captain.
They don't listen to me. What's your name?
I'm Jackie.
Jackie?
Yes.
Jackie, they won't listen to me.
I know. You gotta get them under control.
You think Terry Bradshaw, for example, he won't listen to me. I mean, here is one of the great quarterbacks. You're from Canada. You know from quarterbacks, right? You know American football? You don't know nothing. How am I doing? Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw, 4 rings on his finger. One of the best, maybe the best quarterback that ever lived. Tough guy. Jogging. Since he was 6 years old, he played football. In his prime, he was 260 pounds of muscle. Could run. Everything. He was brave. He told me a story. He told me a story of the play. He's playing for Pittsburgh area, and the whistle blows. The referee blows the whistle dead. The play dead, and the linebacker, who has him in his grip, is supposed to let go. He doesn't. He tips him upside down and throws him into the ground. Pile drives him into the ground. Terry Bradshaw's lying there. He can't move his arms and legs. He's paraplegic. He starts to weep. I'm gonna die. And they take him off the field, and it takes till about, that's Sunday, it takes about Tuesday, and the bruise, whatever that was, kind of heals a little bit, and he gets the sensations back to his hands and his legs. He's okay. Thursday, he appears for practice, and the coach says, you're going in on Sunday. I couldn't move my hands and legs. What are you talking about? You're going in on Sunday. He goes in on Sunday and wins the game. That's how tough Terry Bradshaw is. So we're in Scandinavia. We're in Sweden. Now Swedes love, God, I don't know how they could. They love fermented cod. I played a cop, TJ Hooker, for several years. I got to know policemen very well. Policemen see a lot of dead bodies in their career. Dead bodies start to smell bad after a few days. After about 2 weeks, the stench is overwhelming. And you see these big cops who've had so much experience walking around with their handkerchiefs over their nose because the smell is so bad. That's nothing compared to fermented cod. So the people in the shows say, here's a can of fermented cod, guys. Please eat some and have a, talk about it. That's all they do. The rest is all ad lib. Nobody listens to me at all. They said, open the can. I said, be careful. Nobody listens. George Foreman opens. The can is swollen, okay? Anybody who knows anything about cooking knows that a swollen can has got whatever that thing is, botulism. Botulism! They got botulism in there. I mean, if botulism touches you, you've got botulism. You throw the can out. You bury it in the ocean, you get rid of it. You don't open the bloody can. George Foreman opens the can. It spatters all over everybody. The stench is overwhelming. I'll tell you how overwhelming it is. We had 5 cameras, one here, one here, one here. This camera catches this camera over here. This camera catches this cameraman right here. This cameraman, when he smells it, projectile vomits over there. That's how bad it was. And tough Terry Bradshaw, 4 rings, 4 pile dragged into the ground. Paraplegic gets a place and he's screaming, oh my God, oh my God. Tough Terry Bradshaw. I popped some in my mouth. That increases Terry Bradshaw's fervor. Oh my God! Then I take a piece of fermented cod and go towards Terry, who knows what I'm going to do. He takes off running, and I run after him. My back is really bad from all the years of horseback riding. Somebody said on that show, you give a good impression of running. But Bradshaw's knees are worse than my back. catch up to Bradshaw, who makes a cut, falls to the ground. I jump on him and bathe his paint in fermented coffee. Bradshaw said on camera, the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life is Shatner running me down. Nobody listens to me. Adam brought me some really exciting news. I hesitate to tell you because I've been talking to you for so long. But the book, better late than, not better late. Live Long and is available now. Buy the book, will you? How am I doing? Good, okay. She went from "you're doing great" to where am I? You? Yeah. No, I asked the lady in the sparkly hat. Oh, I'm so sorry. Young man! Little guy!
Yes?
You have to, okay, so nice loud voice. You hear how I'm screaming?
Yes.
You gotta scream too.
Okay.
You put the microphone right near her.
Alright.
Scream!
I was wondering, during your experience on the show Columbo, how did you like working with Peter Falk?
Peter Falk just talked like that all the time. This is the way he talked. Peter Falk was the funniest guy. He was such a wonderful actor. He came up from the streets of New York. We had these New York actors, these wonderful New York actors who played reality. They were so real. So that when he was a cop, when he played being a policeman, Peter Falk, he was like a New York cop. He played New York. That was it. And then he would turn around and give you the solution. The problem with Columbo was that the very first moment in the show, you knew who the criminal was. The show had to hold your attention by waiting for Peter Falk to find out what we already knew. That's not good storytelling. And they had to solve it, and they struggled with their scripts again and again. That was the reason the show kind of meandered. It was a great show, but writing those kinds of scripts, very difficult. I loved Peter Falk. Okay? Yes! Buy the book, will you, for God's sakes. And the albums, for God's sakes. How am I doing? Good.
Mr. Shatner.
That's me. How did you know that?
Do you prefer Bill?
Yeah, anything will do.
You, Captain.
Hey, come on, give me the light here. Jesus, I gotta get back now. Okay. Oh! You know, I read on Mission Impossible that Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Have you guys seen Mission Impossible? I can't believe that he does his own stunts. And I'll tell you why. It's not that he's not physically perfect and capable and all that. The insurance company has got to say, oh, wait a minute, Tom's going to climb to the... Are you crazy? We're in the middle of a $250 million picture. He falls to the ground. What do we got? No way. He climbs the building. We're not insuring it. That's got to happen. I don't understand how he could be doing his own stunts. Does that answer your question?
So, of all the things that I have to thank you for, like a love of philosophy, space science, the biggest thing is women. Let me tell you.
Women?
Yes.
My wife is here. What's the matter with you?
Well, no, let me explain. I'm in daycare, like 7 years old.
You're in daycare?
Yeah, this is a long time ago.
Wait a minute, you watched me while you were in daycare?
Yes.
Jesus,
Yes.
man.
And it was the game Susan Triskele, and you were making out with this beautiful blonde woman.
Wait, you're thinking this in daycare? What are you wearing underneath that thing?
So I spent the rest of that afternoon
I'll bet you did.
making out.
I know it's somewhere around. You're 6 and 7 years old.
Yes.
And you're looking at me with beautiful women.
Yeah.
And you're envying Captain Kirk with the beautiful women.
Yes, it was a big impact.
What do you do for a living?
I'm actually a dating and relationship coach.
He's in relationships. Are they sexual or are they intellectual?
Both.
You have sexual and intellectual relationships, and you teach that?
And romantic
What?
and
And
emotional.
romantic, and intellectual,
Yes.
and cultural.
Yes.
You're a monster.
I love you. I love you so much. So my question.
You're also a, what do you call it when you whip somebody?
So my question is, in the show, what was your relationship to the ladies' man
Sexual.
aspect of?
I'm going to satisfy your every fantasy. Every single one of those girls. I wanted nothing to do with them. I was into the why me, or me too, why me. Why me? Why me? Why did I get you all of a sudden? Why me? Why did you get Kate and ask her that question? No, it has to be me. I'm into the Me Too movement. I can't tell you how many of those women prostrated themselves in front of me. Are you happy now? Go back to your bed and think about it.
Not you. But I'm glad I got that answer too. It's just a great answer. So was Kirk an expression of you, or did you get to express yourself?
No, this is total. Listen, I'm stuck on the tape here. I want to tell you something. What's your name?
Louis Brandmeier.
Louis what?
Louis Brandmeier.
Brandmeier. Listen, Louis Brandmeier. I want to break this to you gently, okay? I don't want you. Would you put your arms around him? Yeah, no, that's it. Hold him, support him. Louis, it's all fantasy.
It inspired many great realities.
Pretend, man. It's all pretend. What else do you want to know?
Oh, the Shatnerverse novels that you wrote with Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens.
Yes.
That's the truth of Captain Kirk, right? He's out there still.
Yes.
This is.
Absolutely.
How was it to write those?
That we wrote are autobiographical. The band is getting ready to play. What's the inner meaning of this?
Thank you.
The hook is coming out. Okay. One more question. Is that the idea? Or is that the end of the question? There's nobody at the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being with you.